Thank you guys so much for joining us for our live stream. We're in just outside of Toronto, Canada.
In Kitchener.
And we're celebrating a year of full-time living out of our van, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And we just celebrated that a few days ago. So we wanted to host a live stream and talk about van life year 2.
Yes. So to get started, for those of you who see some of these super chats popping up and people asking or saying Joe Dump, thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. What we're doing today is when we first got on the road, Kait did this thing where she said she was going to dump the cassette for a full year.
Don't you have video of that?
Oh, I do. I'll show the video in a little bit. I have proof. So what we're doing is for year 2, we're leaving it up to you guys, the viewer, to decide who's going to dump for the next year.
Going back to celebrating a year of living out of the van, what were some of your favorite experiences from year 1?
I would say Yosemite was awesome. I loved all the places we could go in the van. So when we really talked about doing the van, we wanted something we could park in a normal spot. And I think we had this idea that it was going to be really cool and we could do all this stuff. Well, I would say in reality, it was a lot better than we ever expected. It was so much fun taking our home with us in places we could go. Because before we would park the Class A motorhome someplace and then drive the Jeep away to wherever. Now we just take our home with us and we have everything at our fingertips. And if we go out for the day and we decide, you know what, we don't need to go back to where we were, let's just keep going, we can. And I think for me that's been the most special thing outside of places, so to speak.
I loved going to Arizona and doing the wildlife drive with Leo.
Yeah, I think spending time with Leo there and seeing how excited he was still very much, the cancer he had was still really bothering him. But when he was there and he saw the bears and the way he just perked up, that was a lot of fun.
And speaking of which,
before you show that off,
yes,
RV Menagerie, thank you, but no, it really, Kait. I think I am.
Here, I'll let you share this lovely gift.
No, you'll share it.
Okay.
I'll put up my own demise.
So speaking of Leo, I just want to give a shout out to Kim from the O Life. She went through all of our videos and captured all of these great photos with Leo and made us a flip book. And it just put such a huge smile on my face. So, Kim, if you're watching, thank you so much for this.
It really meant a lot.
It's so special. And I was thinking of it because there's one from Arizona in here with Leo. But, yeah. But the thing is, so we made Leo stickers, and we've been passing them out. But I said to Joe, we had 2 dogs, but everyone knows Leo, and they don't know Duke. So I'm going to get Duke stickers made, too.
I think that's
Fair?
a good idea.
Okay.
Paper Cat was asking what he just voted for, or she just voted for.
Oh. You just voted for who you want to dump the cassette toilet in our van for year 2. I did all the dumping for year 1.
So far, the results are heavily skewed in my favor.
And Joe's in the winning.
I was hoping you guys would support a brother, but
but I think, looking forward to year 2 of van life. Very excited.
Mm-hmm.
And as we mentioned, we're now on the east side.
Yep.
We haven't spent very much time out this way.
No.
So very excited to see what this side of the country or North America has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we're going to stay around Canada or not after we finish the little stint here.
So should we tell everyone what we've been up to?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we told everyone that we were going to start traveling internationally. We are currently in Canada, up in Kitchener, just outside of Toronto. We're at the Heimer factory. We just got back from Barcelona.
Spain!
Yes.
We got our first international trip under the belt, and now we're international again.
Yes.
But we did film our experience in Barcelona, so we will be sharing that with everyone. So stay tuned for that. But that was kind of like a nice kickoff to year 2
It was.
of van life. We thought we would take some questions from everyone about van life.
And what it's been like over the past year. So,
I'll get started with some of the questions we already received.
On Patreon.
So Shamrocking asks, so we've been researching vans for many months now. We're having a hard time anticipating what our needs in the van might be. What I would like to know from you both is what you have found you've needed and not needed in your van. And also, have you ever needed or wanted 4-wheel drive? So 2-part question.
Okay.
So we'll tackle the first part, which is things, now that we've lived out of the van for a year, are there things we needed and things we don't need? Because they're looking to build out their van, so they're looking for some ideas.
I would say the bathroom is kind of overrated. I would still keep a type of toilet. We like the cassette or maybe one of the little, what do they call them? The porta potty things.
Mm-hmm.
Keep something like that, but I don't really feel like you need a full bathroom. But then again, we've been living together in such a small space. Privacy has gone out the window. If you do like to be private and have a door to close, then a bathroom makes a lot of sense. What else?
We haven't needed?
That we haven't needed.
I can't think of anything. I can think of all the stuff that we really have needed and wanted, which is our solar and battery setup.
Yes.
I would not do without that.
Essential.
The Instant Pot, but that's not part of a van build. That's more of a gadget. I like our bed setup. I like that we have a permanent bed.
Yes. Although I will say, if you have a way, if you're looking to build out a van or looking to get a van, one really nice feature is being able to fold that bed up and out of the way. So we've been having to do it. We're getting a little bit of work done on the van, so we've been having to put the bed up every day. And the nice thing is that we have all this extra room, and Kait was saying, I don't mind having to make it every day, because having that extra room for some more space, you can go. Kait was doing some exercises back there, and that's been really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so then the second part of her question is 4-wheel drive. Is it something we've needed or wanted for our van?
I would say it's something we've wanted, and it was on our list of really want-to-haves but not need-to-haves when we were looking for the van, and that's why we didn't end up with a van that had 4x4. I will say that there have been a few times where we've stopped ourselves from going any further because we didn't have 4-wheel drive, and that is kind of 2 parts. One is having a 4-wheel drive to get us out of a bit of a sticky situation, like let's say some mud or sand, where 2-wheel drive would dig in. The other is the height clearance. So 4-wheel drive vehicles, like the Mercedes, for example, is 4 inches taller in the 4-wheel drive trim than the standard trim. We would have found that to be very useful.
This leads me to Diane. How short or small would you go in terms of length?
How short or small would you go? I would say we're 20 feet, 8 inches now.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely trim a foot off of that. If not, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the ProMaster, the shortest one, or the shortest one they make the Heimer in is I want to say 19 and a half feet. I think the Sprinter is about the same length, and I think the Ford has a slightly smaller version. So any of those would be fine. I don't know of any small. I wouldn't want to go down to a minivan. Let's put it that way.
You would not?
No.
Why not?
I want something we can stand up in. I think a minivan would just be too small to have any room where we could work and have a bed and just have comfortable areas.
Yeah. So I would say for most people who ask us questions about building out their own van or what we think of vans in general and what we need and don't need. I think the most important question you should ask yourself is, what are you using it for and how are you using it?
Yes.
We use it for full-time living. And we work out of there, we live out of there. We used to have a dog that stayed with us. And I think that will help guide you in what direction you want to go. Because living out of our van full-time, we would not want anything that we couldn't stand up in. But we meet a lot of part-timers who don't have a problem with that because they're okay kneeling down for a weekend to go camping.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we're living out of the van. So that's my biggest advice for anyone, looking to build out their own van is figure out what you want to use it for first and then build it out for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark asked, do we wish we had a pop top? Now that we've looked at the Active with the pop top.
That's tough. I enjoyed the pop top and I really liked being in there. One thing to consider with any pop top is the added weight of having that on the roof. I don't know. You?
I like the pop top.
You really did.
I really liked it. It's not that I wish we had one, but I think if we had one on the van, I would really enjoy it because the view from up there was really nice.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. So if we had one, being able to go places and pop it up and sleep up there when we wanted to would be a great option. But then having the bed down below, so make the bed down below our normal sleeping place unless we're out in the middle of nowhere and we just want to feel like we're in a tent or on top of the world, then yeah, that would be fun to sleep up there.
I want to take a quick break and say hello to Robert. He is currently eating nachos from the bar and watching our live stream. So for those of you who don't know, Robert is a longtime subscriber of ours and also a member of our WTR family. And we had our most recent New York meetup at his bar, which was so much fun. And we got to sample the nachos.
We did.
Back to questions. Pete
Yes.
would like to know, in a large city like Boston, would you try to drive into the city and find parking or park outside and take mass transit in? So I think an example would be New York. We were just in New York. We didn't have the van. It was parked at our friend's place in Philadelphia.
Yep.
If you could do it over again, would you drive the van into the big city?
Well, I would say it depends on what we're doing. If we knew we had a place to park it, then I would have no problem driving the van into the city. I think the difficulty would be in a place like Boston, New York, San Francisco, Chicago. When you really get into the downtown areas, parking is very limited, and when you do find parking, a lot of it is parallel parking and only spots for small cars. So it would make life difficult for us. So I would try, if we could, I would try to park it outside of the city in a secure area and then take a bus or something into the city, like what we did for New York. But then there are also a lot of big cities like Houston, Los Angeles, and places that are more spread out where we've been there and had no problem parking whatsoever.
Yeah, but that's because I think the city is built a bit differently, right? New York. Oh, did you get another one?
I did.
Joyce! Wait a minute. I think we should clarify. Joyce, is your super chat for me to dump or for Joe to dump?
It's already on the board. She said Kait.
Come on. Even Ed said it's only fair for Joe to do it for the next year.
Well, all right. So
I still can't believe
Joyce,
that house.
thank you. So what were you saying about New York?
Oh, I was just saying, a city like New York, the mass transit is so great that people don't have cars, and so there aren't as many parking options.
Yes.
But the interesting thing, so to go off, piggyback on Pete's question about going to a big city, so when we were in Barcelona and we were hanging around,
Yes.
I think we could easily park our van in Barcelona. But the thing is, parking is very expensive in Barcelona. And it was, 30 euro at most places to park for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's assuming you can park overnight there.
Yes.
So like Barcelona, if we had the van in Europe, I would park it outside of the city.
And try to take
do mass
a train or
transit.
something in. Yes, absolutely.
But, okay, so going international, I don't know, did you mention this? Because I wasn't really paying attention. I was monitoring the chat.
I didn't. No, if you're gonna talk about what I think you're gonna talk about, no, I did not mention it.
Okay, so here's the thing we realized the time we were in Barcelona. And we've been talking to you guys about shipping the van to Europe and caravanning around Europe. So every gas station I walked by, it was about €3 per liter for gas.
That depended. It was about like €2 to €3 per liter, and it's 3.87 liters per gallon. So let's just say 4 liters a gallon.
That's expensive.
That's a lot of money. That would be, God, we have I want to say 100-liter tank. So $300 to $400 to fill the tank.
So I am rethinking this idea I have about taking the van to Europe. I don't know. These gas prices are a little prohibitive, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I would. So one interesting thing for those of you who haven't been to Europe is it's very well interconnected with trains. They also have companies such as Ryanair that have really good flights all around Europe, within Europe. And while we were in Barcelona, if we wanted to take a flight to Italy, it would have cost us about, I think it was €50 a person. That's €100. That would be less than us having to drive, or less in gas for us having to drive to Italy with the van and then worry about parking and everything else. So if we want to really travel around Europe and try to do so on a budget, flying and taking the train with a backpack would be the best option for us. And, I think one of the Airbnbs we stayed in, the woman was telling us that it was €15 to fly from Barcelona to, was it Granada?
Mm-hmm, Granada, Spain.
€15. That's the equivalent of, I think, $17 per person. The only downside is you can't bring large luggage. You have to have a carry-on.
Okay, I just have to read this comment from Robin. She said, "Tally it up and I will even it out with a big vote for Kait. This way, it will be a shared task all next year. She should also help with gray tank dump." So, Robin, we will tally it up towards the end and see where we land. But did we just get another super chat?
Yep, Adam and Jocelyn.
Since Kait is monitoring the chat, of course I have to vote for Joe. Well played, Kait.
Let's see. So far, 25.
I'll let you do the math.
This is going to stress my math skills.
Take your time, honey. Take your time. Let's see. Okay, while you're tallying that up, I'm going to continue on to our next question from Cece, which is, are you thinking about a trip to Alaska? So we've been asked that question quite a bit. And for me, the mosquitoes are definitely a big factor for me not wanting to go to Alaska unless it's the winter time. Where are you? 83. Hey.
83 to 25.
Oh, but some of that was in Polish currency.
That's fine. I think we count it.
Okay. So Alaska.
Yes.
We're definitely not going to Alaska for year 2. Oh, Shannon just voted for you.
Here, I'll start. I have to start a new column now.
Oh, dear. 83 plus 20.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Joe, it's your turn. Nothing but love.
Thank you. Really.
So Alaska, probably not year 2, but definitely want to go to Alaska.
So we're going back a little bit. Kait is very allergic to mosquitoes. And for those of you who've been following us for a long time, when we went down to the Everglades, Kait got bitten right on her cheek and her entire eye swelled up. It swelled shut. She gets bit on the arm, it swells, and she gets a massive thing. So it's not pleasant for her, and it might even be slightly dangerous. So we need to go either on the shoulder seasons in Alaska, which given the time to drive up there and back may not really be possible just for us to hit that bit of time. So we're talking about flying up and for winter and going around and seeing all the wonderful things we've heard about Alaska in the winter. We also want to take a cruise up there.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom has this bug suit. And for those of you who have been following our YouTube channel for quite a while, I did a video about where I was wearing her bug suit. And I feel like if I had her bug suit, I might be able to do Alaska. But the thing is, I have to stay in the bug suit the whole time. That way the mosquitoes can't get me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think the drive is part of the experience of getting up to Alaska.
I do too. I think we would have to time it just perfectly.
Yeah.
And get to some areas that are a little less.
But we'll see. We'll see how I fare this summer on the East Coast, because I've also heard mosquitoes out here aren't that great either. So, Pete. Hey, Pete. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for wishing us a wonderful year. Do you have a vote for me or Joe to dump the cassette in year 2?
Just say Kait. I'm so far behind at this point. It'd be nice to help even it out.
So I think one of the things we forgot to mention is, and I saw a few questions come through on the chat, is are we staying in the active for year 2?
Yes. So we're up at the Heimer factory right now. We're hanging out with everybody. And yes, we've decided to stay in the active for year 2. I mean, we have really enjoyed the van. It's been working out really well for us. And we made a decision just that we would continue in year 2.
Yeah. And we actually gave a presentation today about sharing our experience from year 1 of van life. And that's something we're going to try to put together and share with you throughout the next few months, is a collection of all the tips and tricks, favorite places that we've been to in van life year 1.
Yep.
And share those with you.
Yes, we figure you enjoy seeing all the travel stuff, and we'll continue to show that. But I think we want to expand on that and start to give you some of the learnings that we've gotten, because there's a lot to share out there, and especially for those people that are looking to go out and doing it or who are doing it already, we want to share that knowledge with everybody.
We have another super chat from Kathy, or Kath. Hey, Kath. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. She votes that Joe and Kait decide who gets to dump the cassette. Nice to see you guys. Come to Washington sometime. How about we split it 5-5? That's only fair.
5-5?
Yeah. 5-5.
You mean like right here?
No.
5?
No.
5.
No. That's not. I'm going to need to revoke that pen from you.
It's on the board.
Oh boy, it's on the board.
Thank you, Kath. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So this one says, do you wake up each other crawling? Oh, let me start over. So the question is, do we wake each other up when we crawl over each other? So because of the way we sleep, I sleep closer to the exit, I guess, and you sleep closer.
Yeah. So we sleep side to side in the van, and our heads are on the driver's side. I sleep on the back against the rear door, and Kait sleeps. I would have to crawl over Kait to get out of bed. The reason we did that is Kait tends to get up more in the middle of the night or earlier than I do. And once I go to bed, I'm usually good until I get up in the morning. So we don't have any problem. I wake you up sometimes. There are some days I wake up really early and I know Kait has had a rough night or whatever it was. And I try to stay in bed as long as I can so I don't wake her up in the morning. Yeah. I would say before we got in the van, there was a lot of trepidation about what it would be like having to crawl over each other. And at some point, I remember when we were looking at our previous motorhome, we found a few setups where the bed was like that. And we said, there's no way we would want to live that way. Now that we've done it for a year, it's not something that would stop us. I think it can be a little disruptive at times, but you really get used to it. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So here's a really interesting question.
Oh,
I think you might enjoy, since we're trying to practicar español.
okay.
Adrian asks, do we have thoughts of traveling south of the border into Central and South America?
We do. And I think that's where the motorcycle starts to come in. I've been looking at the big, touring bikes, BMW, KTM, things like that, so we can go a little bit off-road. We're bouncing around some ideas in our head, but yes, we would love to get down into Central and South America. And I think if we did Central South America, we'd start from the U.S. and work our way down.
Yeah. And we both realized going to Barcelona that we want to learn Spanish. And for some reason, we both decided to take French in high school, even though we were in Los Angeles, and Spanish would have benefited us both.
Tremendously.
Yes. So now we need to practice. And I've been studying my vocabulary, so you might hear some Spanish in the in our future videos as we try to practice.
It won't be good Spanish, but we are working on it. And Kait is since English is her second language, she's much better at learning another language proficiently than I am.
But I can't roll my R's. I can't do that. So there are a lot of words I can't pronounce in Spanish.
It's okay.
Properly. And then people look at me trying to figure out what I'm trying to say.
They do.
Okay, so should we do a big tally? I think we know who won.
Well, let me get the pen. I am the math whiz in this family. So, 35.
I'm at 35. You are at 103.
103.
Yay!
So guess what I'm doing for the next year?
Thank you! Joe gets the dump for year 2.
She's going to hold this over my head for the entire year. So thank you, everybody. You don't know how happy this made her.
Well, granted I did volunteer to dump the cassette for the whole year, but I think now the people have spoken, you get to dump.
Yes.
For year 2.
Outside of that, I want to thank everyone so much for all of your support and everything. Because as I mentioned before, this is the stuff that keeps us on the road. And I know this has been a lot of fun. For all of you leaving comments here, super chats, and the support you give us everywhere else, we really appreciate it. And that's the reason why we had such a good year 1 and we're able to go into year 2 and keep this life going. And, hopefully we're inspiring some of you to get on the road, do the things you love, and that's really what we're here trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, it means a lot.
Yeah, and, I think we're excited to share some of the upcoming videos with everyone. On our channel, we're going to do things a little bit differently, or try to play with some new things.
Yeah.
So you might notice that the video formats and things are a little bit different, but we're going to stick to a Wednesday schedule.
Yes. So every Wednesday we'll put up a video or maybe do a live stream. We'll see. Especially when we have such good internet Wi-Fi like we do here.
Yeah. Might have to do another one. Hola from the UK. But someone asked if I could speak in my native tongue.
Go right ahead.
So I will say, 大家好, which is hello everyone in Mandarin or standard Chinese. And that's another language I need to work on, is my Mandarin.
Yeah. One other thing, I popped a graphic at the bottom of the screen for those of you who are on Instagram. Please feel free to follow us over there because we do post a lot, at least one photo a day on Instagram.
I come here and there. It depends on what's going on.
Some cool stuff.
Yeah, and we try to post different things on Instagram. That we don't share elsewhere. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for everyone that's new, this is my shameless plug for the book. Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
So this is Take Risks, One Couple's Journey to Quit Their Jobs and Hit the Open Road. It is a book I wrote about our kind of journey to go from living in a house full-time to hitting the road and everything that took. I'm currently working on book 2 for everyone who's wondering. And yes, Kait is working on her Instant Pot cookbook. But you can find the book on Amazon and pretty much most places you can buy a digital book. But on Amazon, you can actually get the paperback copy. And if you ever happen to meet us in person, I will be more than happy to sign it for you.
And Robin just put in a super chat to even things out. So.
Robin, thank you. I really appreciate the support. And
it is fair.
Yes. I will do it for year 2. I think the people have spoken. Let's just put it that way.
But I'll help out with gray tank dumping. Sometimes I help you with the cord.
Oh.
I'll hold the cord up for you so that the gravity is feeding down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for the live chat.
We really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay tuned every Wednesday. We'll be posting a new video and
more importantly, I think if nothing else from this last year of sharing our life on the road is we really want all of you to get out there and do your thing, whatever that might be. If it's traveling in a van or going on vacation with your family, just get out there, live your dream. Life is short. Just enjoy it and, be happy.
Yes.
So, thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.
Adios.